Hey there, Heather Gray here, aka the Lyme Boss, and you are on another amazing episode of the Lyme Boss podcast. I'm Heather Gray, aka the Lyme Boss. I think I said that already. I'm not used to doing these ones on my own, but I need to start doing more of them. So they're a little on the awkward side. I'm used to, having somebody else to talk with and bounce back and forth with, but not the case when it's just me. So welcome to another awesome episode, right? Yay, welcome Heather Gray, our guest. Those of you that can watch, that are actually watching this, you might notice half of my cheek is bright blue, half of my teeth are bright blue. That is because I am trying out a new type of methylene blue. The kind that I was using, and I'd mix it with red light therapy, I absolutely adore, but I found this new company that actually has a little bit of nicotine, a little bit of caffeine, and a little bit of CBD. And it's supposed to just really help. Those three are just supposed to really help supercharge the brain, the mitochondria, energy. So I'm always down to try new things and see how they affect me first. And then I put my, Lyme Boss stamp of approval on it or not and move on. So if you're wondering what that funny blue is, that's what it is. So just bear with me. Today, I wanted to talk to you about brain retraining and nervous system resetting. It was such an important piece in my healing journey, like one of the biggest pieces, and I didn't find it until very last. And how much time and energy could have been saved if I would have focused on that more in the beginning. But I actually didn't know more about it in the beginning. In the beginning, after becoming a functional practitioner, I did all the things that functional practitioners do. I followed the diet, I followed my supplements, I made sure I was in bed by 10. I drank, purified water and put water filters on my shower heads, and I did all the things. And I would get better. I would clean myself up, I would get better. And then 6 months later, a year later, I would crash and I would relapse. And then I kept doing this cycle on and off for like 10 years. So 2013 is when I graduated FDN. I was like probably one of the third classes, I think, in FDN. It was kind of an OG. And then it wasn't until, I guess 2020 when I decided that I was really going to dig in deep again into this world. And I had relapsed again. And I remember some of you heard this story. My husband told me he wasn't going to be married to an angry person anymore, and I needed to figure it out. I was kind of picking on his kid at the time, and I was inflamed, and I was overweight, and I was reactive again. And I asked the universe, what's my next step? What am I supposed to be doing? And I got an answer in the book, The Body Keeps Score. It was a highly triggering book, but very, very good at helping me understand the brain-body connection. And then I think shortly after that, I went on an ayahuasca journey. And then, some of you have seen my trips, experiments with psychedelics, mushrooms, bufo, and, somatic experiencing work and bioenergetic work all really, really helped this last piece. So my easily startled, right? How many of you folks out there who are easily startled? That's actually not normal, right? Just because something is common does not mean that it's normal. I say this quite often. And so if my back was towards the front door, and I'm up in the kitchen, and if my husband or my stepson would walk up the stairs, all I'd have to do was say one thing and I would like scream and then throw whatever was in my hands out of my hands. And then I would have this rage because then now I've got like this adrenaline pumping through me, which felt like poison. And then my husband or my stepson would feel bad because they would kind of see this reaction. And, they didn't mean to cause that. They didn't do it on purpose. And, so I started diving in deeper. And a lot of it was with Dr. Amy Apigian. So she was like my first real teacher that came across my awareness. And I did her biology of trauma courses and did her 21-day journey. And by the end of that 21 days, doing some somatic experiencing work, like I said, I also picked up some breath work and some other type of stuff. It was completely different how different my nervous system was at the end of it. So sadly, like those of us that have chronic illnesses, or mold toxicity is notorious for turning on the alarm bells, right? Fire, 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 fire. It's meant to help keep us healthy, right? And so there's Now it's setting off your nervous system. So now you're in fight or flight. We've all kind of heard that these days now, right? So when you're stuck in fight or flight, right, the tiger's always chasing you and you can't heal, you can't rest and digest when you're in fight or flight. And so that was the piece that I had never worked on. Some of you heard my story of, early childhood trauma, my uncle committing suicide when I was 4. I had multiple suicide attempts myself, raised in an, alcoholic addict family. Man, my mouth is getting really blue. Um, and just all the things that kind of led to the trauma in my nervous system. All kinds of things can cause trauma in the nervous system. And I'd never addressed it. I never looked at it. I kind of, put everything in my past behind a 10-inch steel wall, I thought, and shut the door. But it has a funny way of creeping back in. And the one thing I love about a lot of this nervous system resetting and like somatic experiencing work is that you don't actually have to remember the event, and you don't have to go back and relive it, right? Because who the hell wants to do that? And with my issues with Lyme disease and having trauma in my childhood, a lot of my childhood was gone. And so I always thought that there was going to be a certain level that I couldn't heal, right? Because I couldn't remember it. How the hell are you supposed to heal something if you can't remember it? Turns out you can. So I'm going to show you just a few different exercises that when done a couple times a day can really, really, really be a game changer with your mental and physical health and be like the guide that you need to the next steps of getting healthier. Because sadly, like I said, if you don't put this piece in place, you're going to continue to relapse and get sick and bump up against walls and get frustrated and spend more money and more time than you need to. So obviously I dig a lot deeper with the clients that I work with. And if this is something that, is of an interest to you, if you find some benefit from this, please holler at me and we'll see what it takes to work together. But right now I just want to get you three tools that I use on a regular basis. And then so recently I had a MCAS episode where I got like an allergic reaction to kava, and I was covered head to toe in hives. And part of that also happened because my stress level's been a little out of sorts. It's around the holidays, lots of stuff going on. And I wasn't taking care of myself the way, and I normally do. We usually walk my walk so well, but I definitely got out of sorts this month. It happens to the best of us, right? But I'm aware of it and I'm going to wrangle it back in. And so, getting those tools back into place really helped calm my skin down, help calm my brain down, help calm my gut down. So things are working again properly. So let's start off with one of my favorite ones, and it's easy. I actually have way too many people that I worked with in the past who poo-pooed this type of work because of how easy it is, but it is ridiculously effective and powerful. Do not dismiss something because it's fairly inexpensive and easy, right? Actually, you should be really leaning up against those the most because those are going to be your foundation. Stuff like grounding, right? Getting your bare feet on the ground for 20 minutes a day, or touching a tree, getting sunlight on your eyes first thing in the morning. These types of the easy, inexpensive things, but don't dismiss them. So breath work. It was funny when I first heard the term breath work, I was like, I breathe all the damn time. Like if it worked, why am I not better? I don't understand. I'm very ignorant of myself. And then once I got into my first like breath work, I was like, holy shit. I could feel parts of my brain and my body come back online. Oh, it was insane. And sometimes when I do breath work, I can actually touch back into those places that I was on when I was on psychedelics, which is really, really cool. That's another story. Let's stick with just a few of the things that I teach my clients. So breath work, especially before you eat, because again, I said, if you're stuck in fight or flight, right, you're not in rest and digest. That's right. So we want our digestion working properly when we sit down to eat. And sadly, nobody's mindfully eating anymore, right? We're usually grabbing food, we're on the go, we're run, watching TV. That's a whole nother story, mindful eating. We'll get into that another day. But I want you to do breath work before you eat. So I want you to start off with box breathing. It's really easy to remember, 4-4-4. Do that a couple times before you eat. So it's, inhale for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and hold for 4. Those holds on the up and the bottom are actually more important than the inhale when it comes to calming things down. Now, if you're stuck in freeze or fawn, this is not going to be for you. So just know that. This actually will put you further into freeze, and we don't want to do that. So this is for people who are amped up, right, and need to calm the fuck down, especially before they eat. So at some point, once you get really good at that, I want you to do like a 4-4-7 breath, right? 4-4-8 breath. Because the longer that we can exhale, the more it really triggers that nervous system to calm down. So I want you to do that 2 or 3 times before you eat. Like, it literally takes 30 seconds to do something like that. Right before you eat, before each meal. Try that. Give me 2 weeks doing that and tell me that your digestion isn't getting better, that you're not feeling a sense of more calm and relaxed, right? Another one of my favorite, it's like the self-hug, and hopefully you guys are watching this on YouTube, and you can actually watch this on Spotify now too, as if you're watching it on your PC. But if you're just listening, I'm got my right hand on my left shoulder and my left hand on my right shoulder, kind of like I'm giving myself a big old bear hug. And then I'm actually going to lay my right ear, on my right shoulder, and close my eyes. And then I'm just going to sit in this for about 10 seconds. You might feel your body start to sway. You might notice some emotions and feeling coming up. Don't judge it. Just let it go. Take a couple deep breaths in and out. And just notice how yummy that feels, just to kind of feel embraced. I think people in general are really physically touch starved, especially men in our society. Women have a tendency to be a lot more huggy and a lot more, I wouldn't say assertive, but asking for what we need when we need that touch, where guys do it, other guys, sometimes there's weird stigma and taboo around that. So that one can be like a self-containing hug that can be really delicious, doing just a couple times a day, especially if you're feeling yourself kind of out of sorts and just getting out, containing that and bringing that back into you, bringing it into the present, into right here, right now. That's number 2. Number 3 is my favorite. It's called the Voo with the push away. Learned this from Dr. Amy Apigian. You put your hands up by your shoulders, and you're going to literally act like you're pushing a wall or a boulder away. And I want you to really tense up your muscles and act like you're pushing something away. At the same time, we're going to say Voo. Voo helps, it's like chanting Om. It helps stimulate the vagus nerve. So take a deep breath in through your nose, out with a Voo as we push slow. Voo. You can even do it out to the side push. You can push up to the top. You can push down to the bottom, and really make that energetic bubble, because a lot of us with chronic illnesses also have a tendency to be a little on the compassionate, empathetic side. And we have a tendency to have, everybody's energy just right here, right? So doing that not only stimulates the vagus nerve, which helps reset that nervous system, but then it also helps, like I said, push out that energetic bubble and give me a little bit more space. Practicing these daily when you're not in crisis is crucial, because a lot of times when you're in crisis, you're not going to remember to use your tools. And so getting in the habit, right, of these, whether it's you have to set an alarm on your phone, a reminder before you eat, I don't care what it takes. Just figure out a way to remind yourself a couple times a day to slow down and do these exercises. Trust me, after 21 days, your nervous system will thank me. While I'm at it, I'm feeling generous. Let's give you one more. So I really like this one, especially those of you who work on the computer, right, all day long, like me and my eyeballs. Sometimes I like to just rub my hands together, right, get a little bit of energy going. And then I put the palms of my hands just right on my eyes, and I'll rest my elbows down on the desk. But I just sit there, and with that pressure, so again, when you put pressure on the optic nerve like that, and the energy and the warmth from your hands, it has a tendency again to stimulate, regulate your nervous system and get you into that. So the other day I was having a little bit of a tension headache from staring at the screen too long, and my brain was all over the place. And then I just stopped and did that for like 45 seconds. I couldn't get over how freaking yummy it was once I came back. Like, I felt in my body again. I was out of my head. I was in my heart. And it's just a beautiful practice that I challenge you to get started in your day. Again, don't dismiss it just because it's easy. There's other programs out there like DRNS, Gupta. There's a new one, and I can't, Primal Trust, I think is the name. Um, Stress and Anxiety on my Nikki. Huge game changer. What else? What else? What else? There's so many. Tapping, right? EFT. Look into that at Google or get on YouTube and put tapping and anxiety and see what comes up. You don't have to suffer doing this alone. There are resources out there. Let me be a resource. If not me, I can guide you to some resources, but don't give up. And some of these, like I said, are really foundational. So if you're one of those people that are reacting to water and you're down to eating like 2 or 3 foods, or you've tried all the things and you're still not getting better, this could be your missing piece to the puzzle. So highly recommend getting in, doing some nervous system resetting. So yeah, holler at me if you want to know more. Have a healthy day. Stay tuned. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode, even if you found one little piece of inspiring nugget in it. This is how we change people's lives. This is how people get better. This is how people get hope. So please make sure that you are liking, sharing, and subscribing. Stay tuned for the next episode. You're not going to want to miss it. And while you're at it, head to my website, thelimeboss.com, and make sure you download your free video series, Real Cooking for Real Life. Learn amazing, delicious meals in 20 minutes or less. Learn why and how we cook certain things that are toxin-free, free of contaminants, and how to get a delicious, healthy meal under 20 minutes. You're not going to want to miss out. That's thelimeboss.com.